Hey YouTube, it is Jack again with Toy Dojo, and today we're going to be taking a look at Unique Toys Y04, I believe it is, Allen, or their take on a masterpiece and styled Springer. I've heard many people and read saying they don't care for it too much. It looks too kiddish, it looks too much like a hero masher, it looks blah 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 blah, and I can see the points on that. So we'll kind of talk about that as we go along. But here he is in front of us, and this is a pre-production sample. This should be coming out here, almost final version, I guess. Should be coming out here, I believe, in a couple of weeks. And so this one came with this gun here, which this handle folds up, and that way you can store it in on his vehicle forms. So you got that gun there. Get this down out of the way. Stand him up straight here. And he comes with also this sword, which is actually his propellers that double as a sword. So let's get that down out of the way. The way the sword works here, it's a nice sword too. I mean, it's good use of the propellers. It's got some gray and some white into it. The sword opens up just like here, like that, and like that, and it's connected right here at the center of this piece here. And so all that does is that spins around. This closes down like so. And this becomes his propellers for his helicopter mode. So you got that there. Alright, looking at Springer here, or Allen. I'll be going back and forth, I'm sure, between Springer and Allen, calling him. Before we get into the likes, no likes, let's go ahead and go into articulation. So the head itself is on this here. It's not a ball joint, I don't believe. You really can't tell, but it does look up. Just kind of look down. And you got this weird hinge here that stretches up, and that's for transformation that you can go if you want to give him a long, like, giraffe neck. But that can make him look down more. It can make him look up a lot more, but it's not meant for that. It's mainly meant for transformation. So let's get that back down in there. Shoulders here do go a full 360, like that. The arms do come out right here at the shoulder, and they go even further than that. They go all the way up out of the frame of the camera there. You can see that. The guy's got an upper bicep swivel like this. Got an elbow bend. When you bend the elbow, he's got a gap here where the elbow is supposed to be. So take that as you want. Down on the hands here, they do rotate like so. They do open up. You got this finger, which is all by itself as far as like disconnect from the other ones. It's got a pin here, pin there. So this joint moves, that joint moves, and there's that. The other three are all pinned together right here at the center, and they're all just molded together by themselves. So as far as articulation, you got that, and then just like any other masterpiece style figure, they got that piece right here where the weapons will fit into. He does have a waist rotation as well, right there. Up on the hips, let's get these arms out of the way. Up on the hips, they do come out right there. They go backwards, they go forwards, and not a whole lot forward. That's probably about the extent of it, just because these do not move. These hip skirts here don't move. You got a knee bend. There is no articulation right here at the knee, because you can see the way this runs up into that joint there. So there's no articulation there, so that will not give you a twist. You have to make it kind of rotate at the hip. But again, that's mainly for transformation as well. It won't rotate in all too well at all, actually. Then down here on the foot, you do have articulation. This right here, that's mainly, again, for transformation, the way that all works. You got the toe thing, again, transformation on that. And let's see, that's it. Not too much of a backpack here, I would say. I mean, standard car backpack, considering it is a triple changer. So, not too bad. That's like the cockpit area, like that. It's not too bad, and obviously that's where the propellers go for the helicopter. So, looking at him, okay. Some of the things that I read that were not liked. One, that he's too chunky. And he kind of is. I mean, if you look at the legs here, you can tell he didn't skip leg day. He probably did leg day like 24 hours out of the day just because how massive they are. You can see they're just chunky all the way around. Which really necessarily isn't a bad thing. It makes him, this figure itself is pretty heavy. It's a good solid weight to it. These are made out of die cast for sure. These portions here. I'm not sure what else here is made out of die-cast. I know that for sure is, but the plastic quality is done really well. It's a nice, kind of a thick plastic. It's not really thin, so that also adds to the weight of it. Speaking of these, I know a lot of things that I read where they didn't like that these are yellow. They should have been gray like this, and I understand that, but they had to, at least I'm thinking, they had to choose between the 3 modes. So in this mode here, they're supposed to be gray. Well, in the helicopter mode and the car mode, these are supposed to be yellow because these work as the front portion of the helicopter and the car. So it's like, okay, sacrifice 2 modes or sacrifice 1. I guess you have to sacrifice with just 1 mode to make these yellow. So can't really fault him for that. He's got the spot here for an Autobot logo should you choose to put one, which is neat. And I mean, he looks okay. All right, so some of the things that I don't really care for, I think the well, actually, one thing that I do like. Just kind of zoom in there. Oh, move that camera off to the side there. I do like the eyes. I think they did a good job on the eyes, making them, that's a like nice blue color. It looks like chrome blue, so that's really neat looking. I like that about the eyes. The face itself, I think, for me, the helmet is either too big and too wide, or the face is just too small. So I can't decide which one it is. I guess the helmet, looking at it here, the helmet looks like it fits the size of the body, but maybe they could have made this a little bit thinner, and made that face a little bit bigger. Let's see, what else? Again, just things that I read, that he looks like a Hero Master, he looks like a kid's toy, and he does, but you can give this to a child and let him play with it without fear of it breaking, like I said, because the plastic is really thick. And so I think if a kid were to play with this, anybody can break anything, children can break anything, but I think they would have a little bit more difficult time breaking this than they would, you know, this guy. We'll bring in for size comparisons. And that's my Hasbro Rodimus, who none of us really cared for. I know there were some people that liked them, but for me, no, I don't. I didn't get, I forget what his name, I forgot who made him. The other one that was really nicely done, looks a heck of a lot better than he does, but I didn't pick him up. So there's size comparisons next to him, show him that. Here he is next to Hot Rod, the Masterpiece Hot Rod right there. Just again to show you how much bigger he is than a typical MP car. Just for grins, here he is next to MP10, even though he was in after MP10 mainly. So there he is next to Prime. I'm gonna pull in Wreck-Gar here. That's from the KFC line, which I really like. If you guys didn't watch the video on that one that I did, I really liked him. So you got that there, and he's supposed to be taller than Wreck-Gar. I know in the cartoon they sometimes look the same height, but he's supposed to be taller than Wreck-Gar. And again, we should know that the cartoon really can't give us the accurate heights because they're always messed up on the heights when it comes to that as far as scaling goes. So there he is next to him. Here he is next to another Junkion in his bike mode. And so, like, if you watch the video, he could ride him comfortably and sit in there and ride him somewhat comfortably. But this is way too big for him there. Like, he could not ride on top of him because he just doesn't look right at all. He can't even sit on him right. So, probably not. Get that out of the way. And let's go ahead and bring in Ultra Magnus here. Bring in Masterpiece Ultra Magnus right there. Just again to kind of look at the, let me scoot him back because that's going to be way too much out of screen there. Tilt this up just a little bit. So there he is with the MP Ultra Magnus. So I think they did a good job as far as scaling him, height-wise. The other modes I think are a little bit off, like the car mode I think is really big. But hey, you have to make sacrifices when you're making something this big. So let's go and pull them out. Let's go and get Magnus out of the way for now. And let's get back over to him. So obviously we know he is a triple changer. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to change him into his vehicle mode, and then from the vehicle mode we'll switch him into his helicopter mode. Then I'll give you my final thoughts on him. So first things first, let's go and start working on the arms here. So in the arms, one thing you want to do is start back here on the back. One thing, you know what, I didn't mention, which I should have mentioned, is just there is a lot of nice detailing in here. You can see some detail work right in there. Just a lot of detailing they did on this back here on the back. So there is detailing on this as well. Nicely molded in pieces or just designs they did, which is one good thing about it. So they did a lot of good work on this, I could say. But again, I know it's not for everybody. So, okay, let's go ahead and start transformation. So back here on the back, you want to take these and flip these down, because what these do is they actually hold this spot in place right there. You can see this peg here goes in that peg hole right there. And if you didn't have that way, when you tried to flip the arm up, you can get it, but when you go back down, that would hide away. And that's the way it's supposed to be, but that's for transformation reasons. So you take that down like that, flip this around like so. This is going to come up like this, and then you got to pull these two parts right here. So you just hold this, you can hold it by the hand, and pull that down. That comes up just like that. And you take the fist, make sure it's closed down, turn this around like so, and then you're going to take it and you're going to spin this inside just like that, which is going to reveal this piece right here. Then take this, close that back down just like so. And then on this part, you want to take this, now that we flip this around, it's going to close up and shut into there. So do the same thing on the other side there. Now this one, okay, on this sample here was a little bit harder. Like you cannot get this out by itself. So let me show you what I mean. Let me unplug this real quick. So this here, it's supposed to just pop down the way the other one did, very easily, but it does not. And I've sat there and I've messed with it. I've even tried to stick my finger under here to push it out, but it's just such a pain in the neck. So I had just a little screwdriver, little tiny flathead here, that I found that if I just kind of stick it underneath here and just give that little push, move this hand over, and just give that little push like that and just kind of pry that up, it works. So I don't know if it was just these here that are stuck under that or what, why it's so tight that the other one isn't. I have no idea, but that made it a little bit more difficult. So again, go on with this, and hopefully they fix it on the final version, so you're not having to sit there and fiddle with sticking screwdrivers and everything inside of it. So close this up just like so, and then take this and close it up like that, and there we go on that. So we're going to take these now, we're going to open them up, and we'll start working the upper body before we get down to the lower body. And you can pull this down like this and pull this up like this over to the backpack area here. Take this, flip this up out of the way. We're going to take this, and this right here picks up right here at the waist area. It actually picks up and it folds down like this, so you can kind of extend the body, and you can see where that's going to be kind of the vehicle form there. So take that, we're going to take this, and we're going to move this up out of the way. We're going to take this section here and put that right inside there, just like so, and take the head portion. Come on, go down. Let me do this. Get that out of the way first. You gotta get this done here. So this piece right here where his head was, you gotta take that and shove that down into there like so. And then pick this head up on that hinge we talked about earlier and turn the face around. And that's gonna hide underneath the portion right here. So on that, that's like a double hinge right there. So the way that is, you gotta get that. See that better right there. And that's on a double hinge. You're gonna get that and pull it flat. That way that sits into there, and that's gonna hide his face right inside there. So that's gonna be the top of the vehicle right there. So just have all that stuff into place right there. That goes there. So you can flip these up, and now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these here. We gotta rotate these like this. Just gonna flip over, yeah, like that. Cause this got to go, yeah, just like that. So rotate the arms, stick them forward like this. Take the other one, rotate it forward just like that. And these here, you want to flip them this way, so they're sitting now out on both sides like that. And you take this around here, and this portion right here is gonna go right inside this section right here. So take that, get that up into there just like that. Do the same thing over here, get that up into there just like that. And actually what we should have done We can do it still now. Take these, you want to flip these to where these are now facing the top. So that's got to face the top, and then this one as well has got to face the top, just like that. Actually, not the top, the side. I said the top, I meant the side. Or did I mean the side? Maybe I just messed up. As soon as you got that, these are going to go on top, because these are going to peg into, let's undo this here. Take this, just flip this down like this. These two here are going to peg into those that are right there. Well, right there, sorry, between his legs. These two here are going to go peg into those that are right there. So we'll mess with that here in a little bit. You can just kind of situate that for that right now. Alright, coming down to the legs here, you just want to start, and we're going to start pulling everything apart here. So let's pull these down like this, and come across here, come to the inside of the legs. And you want to just twist these and get, let's start with this one here. So get this piece here, lift it up out of the way, kind of rotate it and get this out of the way, because that's going to peg into there. So get that out of the way just like that. And we're going to take these sections here, we're also going to take this out of the way. Let's get that. Because he is bulky, he has a bit to work with here. So take that, spin that around, and then also get this right here and pop that up. And you're going to just basically just accordion all this out of the way and kind of get this up out of the way for right now. Okay. So now you have this, you can see that's the way it started. You got to flip it on the inside like that at some point. That way that's there. And you get the wheel down here. So on the wheel spot, you're going to take that and you're going to want to flip that out. Okay. Let's see here, actually. Take that, spin that. No, yeah. Take this, spin this around instead of flipping that wheel out. Let's get around here. I just came with no instructions, so I'm kind of going off of the way I transformed it, which I believe was the right way, because if not, I wouldn't have gotten these 3 modes. So take that there, just like that. And then this up here, you're going to take this portion right here, and you're going to flip this up, flip this one up, and spin that around. Okay? And this is going to end up flipping over just like this. So you transform this around like that. This is going to come down and plug into there. And this portion will end up coming like this, and that's going to be the front of the car right there. Once we get everything all squared away up here. These will come down here. Now on this side here, it has a place that this can peg into. This one doesn't. There's no spot for it to peg into right there. So kind of have to sit there with that for right now. And let's just get all this done. So we got one leg for the most part done. Okay, well, now we just got to start working on the other side. So let's go and start working on this side again. Like I said, you're going to spin this in like that. Flip this one around. Pick that up. Spin it around. And get that out of the way. Or so I say. Come on. Quit being a little pain in the butt. Let's go that way with it. Okay. Whatever makes you happy. Alright, and take this right here at this point, and you're going to flip that. Not the whole thing. Let's get this out of the way. Open this up. Spin that around. Open this up out of the way. Get that out of the way there. Now take this part and spin this section only. Right here around. Like that. It's right here. This is what spins inside here. Once everything's closed, it won't allow it to spin. But once you open it up, that spins in just like that. Okay? So now all these sections here, this is all going to tab together. So take these and these two, and I believe they spin this way. I believe that needs to go on the bottom. There's 2 spots where it's going to peg to. There's this peg here, and there's also this peg spots at the bottom here. So I'm trying to remember which one's for helicopter mode and which one is for vehicle mode. But I want to say this one is for vehicle mode. So we're going to spin that around just like that. Do the same thing on the other side. Spin that around so these two are together like so. And then these here are going to close in together. And you're going to get this helicopter piece is going to plug into there. Like that. Let's get that down. And find the spot for it, which should be right there. Let's see. Yeah, it's going to be on this section right here, if we can get that on camera. You can kind of see that spot right there. That's where it's going to plug into. So get that. Plug that into there, like that. Do the same thing with the other one. Take it. And these do peg together right there too. Probably makes it a little bit easier. Peg those together like that. Come on. Get all this at the same time. There's a lot of pegging in spots that go to keep this back end together there. So get that. Peg that one together. Plug that together right there. Let's see, make sure that's not out of focus there. Alright. So you got that. Now you're going to take this section here, and that's going to go around, and that's going to close up. And so, like I said, those two pegs are going to go into those two peg holes right there. Take that, flip that down like that, lock that into place. Okay. Now down here, you're going to take this pieces, flip these up, and that peg's going to go into that peg hole right there. Right there. So you can lock that up into there just like that. These are going to come down here, and these will peg into two spaces. You got those two pegs right there. Going to go into right there and right over there. So let's take that. And when you do that, you got to make sure that this piece here isn't pulled out. You got to rotate that up just like that. And then take that, plug that in, plug it in, and plug that one in right there. And do the same thing on this side here. So we need to flip this around again. Take that, spin that, pick them up, flip that around. Come down with that, come down, turn that around. That's going to peg into there. That's going to come up, and that's going to peg into there and into there. So now it's just a matter of making sure everything is into place. So, okay, down here, these two at the bottom here, what you're going to do on these, again, is you got a peg here and a peg there. Those two will go into those two right there. Take it up, push it in. And they don't always hold the best, I've found. Sometimes they'll come out, but it's not a huge deal. And so, actually I did forget to take these out. Okay, let's redo this. Let's open this up here. It's not too bad if you forget. Just take that, flip this out, flip that out, and then just go ahead and put these back together. Okay, there we go. Not too bad. Alrighty. So there he is in his car mode. Just get everything and mash this together so it looks a little bit decent. Alright, car mode is, I mean, it's a futuristic car, which is what he was, but I don't know. I don't really care for it. I think it's too short and too, I don't know. I just remember it being thinner and sleeker in the cartoon. I remember it just being not as wide. I remember it being kind of long but thin. And maybe my memory serves me incorrectly, but that's what I remember from the cartoon. It's just where I said these don't really hold in too well down here at the bottom. At least on this piece it doesn't. So, you know what I always thought that his car reminded me of? Especially growing up and seeing it. I watched the Transformers movie thousands of times and the cartoon, but it kind of reminds me of the car that Homer built. If you remember that from the Simpsons episode where he built a car. Kind of reminds me of that. Springer's car reminds me of that. Not this one in particular, but just his car itself. So, okay, where can these go? The gun you can take, and like I said, since this flips down, that's the handle. That flips up. You can actually take the gun if you want to, and you can peg it either into this side here or the other side over there. So let's just put it into here just because. And you got that. These, I mean, you can put that there. That's silly. It's not supposed to be a helicopter car. But if you want to do that, you could. So, really, you could take this, open it back up for the sword. And there's really no way to hide it, if you will. Like, you can't just go and say, hey, I'm going to hide it underneath, because there's nowhere for it to go underneath. So you can have this sitting back here like this if you wanted to. Then again, it's out of the way. But it's, you know, it's very visible. You can have it up there like he's doing like a joust match, maybe. Second spots, you can put it either right here or on this side, just kind of get that, you know, on the vehicle. If you wanted to store it, if you're one that likes to store their Transformers in their vehicle mode. So you got that option there if you want to. And so, again, there he is. So let's take these guns off and do a few size comparisons. As far as articulation on this mode, he's a vehicle, he's a car, so he doesn't have any articulation. Aside from he does roll. He does roll, so that's good. He's got these like booster packs here. It's got this clear cockpit area there. It's like a nice blue color there. And then, so this is what I was saying about vehicle mode there. So, since in the cartoon we look at his front end springers, it's supposed to be yellow like this in here. So since those make up the toes, again, like I said, they either had to be yellow or they had to be gray. So if we left them gray, in this mode, they're going to be gray instead of yellow. So, and it's going to be the same way in the helicopter mode. So, you know, you do what you got to do if you're Unique Toys. Like I said, those don't stand very well. So on the bottom here, yeah, you can tell this is a robot because you got his head right there. But aside from that and his chest piece, you really can't see anything else. So they kind of hide everything very well in there. And also, by looking at it, I wouldn't know that this turned into a helicopter, aside from this. But, you know, you can say that's something else on the car. But so I think they did a good job at masking the both robot and the helicopter form on this. So kudos to them for that. I just wish they would have made these things stand better. And maybe they are when this one comes out here in a couple weeks. I have no idea. We will see, I guess, when it comes out. And these two, these kind of always want to flop, but they should just stay right in there, but they don't. They just kind of flop. Like they don't really peg in anywhere. Nothing pegs in anywhere there, so it just kind of sits there and just kind of flops. So, alright, size comparisons. Let's go ahead and bring back in this guy here, just so you can see how big he is next to him. Now, we can see, let's stick him on top. So he's bigger than a Junkion bike by far. And then the last one I have to bring in for a comparison as far as vehicle mode here, that would go with him in that wave, is going to be, this is Delta Magnus. Obviously this is the Ultra Magnus mold, but Delta Magnus here. And so you can see that he is bigger now, probably too big. I can't remember his size in the cartoon, to be honest with you. But I feel like that's just too big. I mean, that he couldn't, Magnus could not carry him. That's way too big. Like, he can put just Springer on top of him and haul him around, and that's it. So, and he'd have to sit on the top. He couldn't go inside there. So I think maybe the car mode is too big. I don't know. What do you guys think? So, there's that. Get Magnus out of the way here. And then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to take him and put him into his helicopter mode. Let me put this down. I think let's focus that down like that. There, that should be better. Okay, so like I said, we're going to put him into his helicopter mode. One thing I forgot to touch on here, which isn't really a big deal, as far as articulation, these little back fins here, they can stand up like this, or they can go out like that. So I don't think that makes a big deal. I think he was always having them like this in the cartoon anyway, so. Alright, helicopter mode. Let's go ahead and start. Start here at the bottom. We're going to just take this and we're going to get this out of the way just for now. Just because they kind of flopping it in the way. But you want to separate all this here because that's going to end up becoming the tail portion of the helicopter. So let's go ahead and take these. Let's open this up here as well. Just to get these out of the way because you're going to need to move this to get it into here to flip stuff out for helicopter mode right there. Which should have been an easy process. Made a little bit more difficult because of this here. So just kind of get this up out of the way. Get those down like that. And flip the wheels in right here. Flip that wheel in right there. And these are going to open up right here, like so. This one here, flip open up like so. And then before we go any further, this right here, we're going to move these, because these, so that way it looks more, I guess, sleek, if you will. We're going to move this, and that's going to go inside there. The only bad part about it is when you go to transform it back into its robot mode, those are a bit of a pain to get out of there. And I'll show you why. So, this is real stiff, this ball joint right here. If it was loose, it wouldn't be a bad thing because when it locks into here, when it's in here, it actually kind of tabs in right there. So if it was loose, it wouldn't be a big deal. But because it is a little bit tight, when you go, you flip this up, and you spin it around, and you push it in here for this mode, it's hard to get out. There's nowhere to really grab it, like your fingernail. Because this is so tight, it makes it hard to get out. So you have to use, again, a screwdriver or something small just to pry it up in order to get it out. Because if not, you're not going to get that out of there. Unless you have fingernails that are long and really rough. So take that, we'll do the same thing on the other side. Let's get this here again. Just kind of spin that. Flip it up. Spin it around again. and just hide that out of the way right there. Okay, there's that. So take these, spin that like that. Take this one, spin that like that. And so all this is going to be the tail fin here. So you take these here, take those there. These come up. Actually, they go down just like that. Take that one because it spins. So on the car mode, it was like this. So you take it, bring it, and you just slide it down into that crevice right there. Just like that. And all this is going to come together, okay? So let's go ahead and do that. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and put this. Is going to be like the landing gear right here. So we'll take that, pull that out first before we go ahead and clap it together. So there you go, there goes that. And take this here, and you're just going to just snap all this together at all the joints that are down there, or all the peg spots, I should say, that are down there. And there goes the tail section of the helicopter. Okay, so here you got to get these pieces out. So in order to do that, you got to lift the arms up, lift this up out of the way, which again is what makes this. This should have been easier than what it is as far as the transformation from vehicle to or car to helicopter. But because you have to move these arms out of the way in order to get these, it makes it a little more difficult than what it should have been. So let's get these arms out of the way. Pull this down. Do the same thing on the other side. Get this arm up and out of the way. Pull this down. And take the arms and then put them back to where they were. Just like that. Okay. So remember what I talked about these here? So now if we leave them the way they were in the vehicle mode, those will not peg in there because the slots are on the outer portion. The slots are on the outer portion here, and they won't peg into the inner portion there. So you got to spin these around to where now those peg spots are on the outside here versus being on the bottom. So you take this one here, spin it, and then again, that way this blue piece is going to be facing down. Spin that around, and then you can peg these into those spots right there. There's a spot there, and there's a spot right there, and those will peg into that. And then you can take this helicopter piece here and flip that back on and lock that back into place like that. Okay? So now, let's get these back and put these back where they were. Spin around. Get it into there. Okay. So, working on these spots right here. That's what we're going to do. You're gonna take these and you got to accordion this out again, like that, and bring this down. And when we do that, what we're going to do here is we're going to take this, we're going to pull this section open like this, okay? And take the wheels, come on. Take this, that's the landing gear, flip that over like that, that gets that out, and the wheel itself is going to fold up and flip over into that. Come on. Like that. There we go. So the whole section folds down just like that. Okay? We'll show it again on the other side. And these two here are going to flip out. So you got to get your fingernail inside there if you got some. If not, again, use your favorite prying tool. Even with fingernails, it's kind of difficult. So you flip that open like that. Go to the bottom here and flip it open like so. Okay? Now down here, this piece here is used to stabilize this portion better here. So we take this is going to fold down into there, and let's lock that away. And then again, this piece here, that accordion's out right here, right there, that's got to go back in order for it to work right. So you got to get that in just like that. And we can flip this down like that. Now on this piece here, you got to pull this section out like this, okay? And there's a peg hole right here that's going to go with that peg right there. And then there's one, let's see how well we can get it here. There's one right there that's going to go into that one that's right there. Okay? So you take all that, situate it again. And it's easier to get the one at the bottom in first and then kind of get the top one in. I say easier, but easier than not. Let's see if I can situate this a little bit better so you can see what I'm doing here. Take that, and find that spot. And you gotta just peg that into there. Like so. Or like so, I say. Let's see here. I mean, come on. Alright, there it goes. So that slides in. No, that didn't go. Jeez Louise, come on, guy. Pull out. Keep your thumb back there. It's probably going to be better. Okay, got that one in. Let's close this up. Yeah, that was a bit of a job. We're going to try and do a better job of keeping it on frame this next one around. That's a bit of a job right there. So that's going to look just like that. Let's go ahead and try and doing it on this side here. And again, these things just keep coming undone. These are just so annoying because they pop open. So again, take this, get it around like that, pull this down, flip that out, and that's going to come down again like so. Pull that up, go down like this, okay? Take this again, flip that out, fold out the landing gear. Take this section right here, and this whole thing flips over like that. We didn't see on the last one, but that one flips over just like that. And then you're going to go ahead and take these pieces again and flip them out like so. Flip that one out like so. And let's work at this again. I'm going to try and get this better on the camera angle here. Okay, so take that out. And again, like I said, it's that peg that's on the bottom of this piece right here. There's a peg on the bottom that's over in this corner over here at the bottom. That goes into that peg hole right there. So it's a bit of a job to get it in there. You got to sit there and mess with it. And that's why when I was looking, I noticed I was doing it off camera. But I'm going to try and do it here on camera if I can. Thing is making sure that this portion doesn't slide back down, because it will easily slide back down on you. So you want to make sure and keep it out as you're doing it. So kind of hold it up like that. And then get that plugged into there. And that actually went a lot easier than the last one. So there you go. And then this will peg in right here. As you're doing it, it'll peg in usually, but that one had to peg in by itself on the side. So there you go. That pegs in like that. Get this thing back again nice and flush. And there he is in his helicopter mode. Peg that into there again. The thing came undone. There we go. Okay. So there's helicopter mode. And let me get the axe propeller here. Flip it around, put that back into propeller mode, and situate that on top like that. And then I just undone the work I did. Close that up. Close that up. There we go. Again, for the life of me, I don't like these things. They're such a pain in the neck to stick inside there. Or to stay inside there, I should say. Lock in there, come on. Alright, let's get those there. Okay. And again, that is going to be tolerances on this particular one. Well, I guess we'll see when he's released. So, there he is in his helicopter mode. And I will say, that's a nice Springer helicopter mode. That I do like. Articulation in this mode, he's got this. And he can maybe go around and go and fly around, if you want to make those noises. I don't know if you do or not. So down here, when we were looking at that spot that we had spun around and everything, it's just again to make this look cleaner, to make it look more evenly, because if not, you have a square block sticking out right there. So you can do that, you can leave it the way it was, it's up to you. So there's that. As far as the gun, again, the gun you can take and just situate it on the sides here if you want to. And that way he has a gun on the side of the helicopter mode. And this is big. This is larger, obviously, than the car mode is. So let's go again for reference. We're going to pull back in the Junkyard motorcycle and just look how much bigger he got. You basically got the whole front section of the car right here. Then this was like the back end that flipped open to make the tail fin of the helicopter. So now we're gonna pull in Magnus again. Let's get Magnus in over here. And now look at him on top of Magnus. He is almost the same size as Ultra Magnus in his car carrier mode. Let's put that about right there. So yeah, he's almost the same size as Magnus. See if we can get into that better. But yeah, if we look at that, again, he's about the same size. So that, again, I don't know, maybe that is like an Apache helicopter, even though that's not an Apache helicopter, but maybe a helicopter that's like a military style helicopter will be as big as a car carrier, maybe even bigger. I don't know. I've never been inside one. So let's get him out of the way. All right, there he is. I think he's a nice toy. I think he's really neat. They did a good job. The robot mode is my least favorite of the three. I think my favorites are the helicopter #1, the car and the robot. They can fight for second and third place because I really don't care for either one of them too much. I do like the helicopter mode though. I think it's really neat. Looks good. So, but for me, I think I'm gonna wait and see what Fans Toys brings out, and I don't know when theirs is gonna come out. I'm sure there's gonna be a while since they just announced it. But like I said in previous videos, I really do like Fans Toys stuff, and so just seeing the pictures of the renditions, I guess they made of him, he looks nice. He looks sleeker in his robot mode, and his car mode looks sleeker. It looks a little thinner and just a little bit longer. So I'm interested to see what theirs looks like when it comes out. So I'll wait. But if this guy is for you, by all means, go ahead and get yourself one and order him up. I'm going to put a link in the description below where you can get him from. And until next time, like I always say, stay safe.